With First Republic Bank down 64% today, Western Alliance Bancorp down 61%, PacWest down 30%, Charles Schwab down 11%, and Wells Fargo down another 6%, Biden assures the American public that the banking system is safe, but refuses to stick around long enough to calm everybody's fears that there won't be a ripple effect or if other banks are set to fail.
Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe.
President, what do you know right now about why this happened? And can you assure Americans that there won't be a ripple effect?
Do you expect other banks to fail, Mr. President?
Should all depositors be protected at all banks?
All right, thank you.
We need to understand that fractional reserve banking equals banks lend money they don't have. Quantitative easing is counterfeiting and diluting the money supply, which devalues every dollar that you earn. This is a direct assault on your savings. Another word for it is theft.
It is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
Welcome back to the High Impact Flicks channel. We've got more coming up, so stay tuned.
People ask me all the time, hey Brian, do you really use that keto elevate stuff, and does it really work? The answer is yes and yes. Never in my entire life have I lost body fat so quickly. Not even in my prime at 25, which is over 25 years ago. I'm approaching 54 this year. If you want to support the channel and do your health a favor, grab some with my link in the description.
Biden tweeted this morning, on Friday, the FDIC, the government regulator in charge, took control of Silicon Valley Bank's assets. Over the weekend, it did the same with Signature Bank. Seems like federal bank regulators are as good at safeguarding the public from bank failures as the FDA is at safeguarding the public from harmful products. Biden says, here's what comes next. Everyone who had deposits at those banks can access their money today. Everyone? What about all those that had over $250,000 locked up? That includes small businesses that need to pay their employees and stay open. No losses will be borne by the taxpayer. Yeah, right. We'll pay for it from the fees that banks pay into the deposit insurance fund. And where does that money come from? The FDIC Reserve Fund has never been fully funded. The FDIC is normally short of its total insurance exposure by more than 99%. Congress granted the FDIC power to borrow up to $500 billion from the Treasury Department, making the system backed by the Federal Reserve. And we all know that backing by the Federal Reserve ensures that we and our unborn children will be paying for this. Biden says the management of both these banks will be fired. If a bank is taken over by the FDIC, the people running that bank shouldn't work there anymore. Investors in the banks will not be protected. They knowingly took a risk, and when risks don't pay off, investors lose their money. That's how capitalism works. You know, that capitalism that Biden loves so much. We must get a full accounting of what happened and why, so those responsible can be held accountable. In my administration, no one is above the law, except the Federal Reserve and the FDIC and the banking regulators. We must reduce the risk of this happening again. During the Obama-Biden administration, we placed tough requirements on banks to make sure the crisis we saw in 2008 wouldn't happen again. Unfortunately, my predecessor rolled some of those back. I will ask Congress and banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely that this kind of bank failure happens again. We must protect American jobs and small businesses. And anytime a politician tells you that something's not going to fail, well, it will. When they tell you American jobs and small businesses will be protected, they won't. In other news, Texas Democrat Representative Sheila Jackson Lee tells Al Racebaiter Sharpton that moving away from prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion in hiring would be devilish and a disease.
Corporate America of goodwill are telling me in the United States Congress, please don't get rid of DEI. Rev, you know I come from a state that the governor announced that he wants to get rid of it. And 3 of our major universities, majority universities, with minorities in those universities or attending, have indicated that they'll stop looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion in hiring. We're outraged about it, and the state legislature, Democrats, state black legislators, Hispanic legislators are going to give them, if you will, a cupful and are trying to work on legislation. This is a disease. It is dangerous, devilish, and it steps on the very principles of the 14th Amendment of Equal Protection of the Law and the Declaration of Independence that speaks about equality in this nation. It is an outrage.
I'm pretty sure that if Americans understood the 14th Amendment, nobody in their right mind would want that to apply to them. This is the pro-slavery or pro-serf or pro-subject amendment. And it reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject, are you a subject? To the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. Are you a denizen of the city, subject to the masters therein, of the United States and of the state wherein they reside? No state shall make or enforce any laws which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property, like governments in the business of doing, without due process of law, or deny to any person within its jurisdiction, and they mean to say any individual under control and authority, the equal protection of the laws. Basically, this amendment reduces all who agree with it to the role of a subject or a serf who is under control and under the jurisdiction of the state.
If you had to get a drink with any personality from CNN after this, who would it be?
I actually have one friend who's a personality at CNN, but I can't say this person's name because I'll wreck this person's career. Oh, well, Don Lemon, who's not a friend of mine. Don Lemon is an international man of mystery. Don Lemon is the stupidest person who's ever had a TV show, but he is, and that's saying a lot, but he's also simultaneously got massive flair. Like, I just can't not like Don Lemon. I can't help it. I just like him. I think he's hilarious.
Nice.
He's just a good dude.
Listen up, buckaroos. Women do have their own spaces, and their spaces are with trans women, and if you don't like that, then you're the one who's not the real woman, and we all know where you shouldn't be, and that's in space with other women, because you are a danger. Goodbye.
Earl, members of the board, my name is Craig Schubert. I'm the mayor of this city. It has come to my attention that your educators are distributing essentially what is child in the classroom. I've spoken to a judge this evening. She's already confirmed that. So I'm going to give you a simple choice. You either choose to resign from this Board of Education, or you will be charged. Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Here's just another shot of it. I'm trying to hold it still, but it's falling. You can see it. It's not soot. It's just, what are these? Literally falling from the sky. They're not seeds. It's freaking winter here in Minnesota. I wonder if anyone else has this. Gray skies. Nothing coming down except black shit.
Now, before you leave, this Saturday, March 18th at 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, which is 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Central Time, I'll be speaking at the True Earth Equinox Summit. This two-day virtual summit features a lot of great speakers and performers, and the aim is to connect, grow, and make a difference. When you get your tickets, you can choose which speaker the ticket supports when you check out. I'll leave the link with all the details in the description under this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.